My name is Emma, and I never expected my birthday to become a family disaster. I had planned a small dinner with about 15 close friends and relatives. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive, and definitely nothing involving 200 people. Then my older sister Jessica called me. "Emma, I'm so excited about your birthday," she said. I laughed and told her it was just going to be a small dinner. There was a strange silence. Then she said, "Well, I may have invited some people." I asked how many. She laughed and said, "Don't worry about it." The next morning, the restaurant called me and asked whether my reservation for 200 guests was correct. I nearly dropped my phone. 200? I booked a table for 15. The manager told me someone had changed the reservation and ordered a much larger menu. I immediately knew it was Jessica. When I called her, she sounded excited. "I wanted to give you a birthday you'd never forget." I told her I didn't want 200 people at my birthday, but she said I was being too negative. She had arranged decorations, a DJ, a huge cake, and expensive food. Then she told me something even worse. "Don't worry about the bill. You can handle the rest." I froze. "Excuse me?" She laughed and said, "You have savings. It's your birthday." I told her I had never agreed to pay for any of this. She became angry and said I was ruining her surprise. A few days later, my mother called me and asked why I was refusing to pay for my own birthday. I couldn't believe it. "Mom, I never asked Jessica to invite anyone." My mother said Jessica had told everyone that I wanted the huge party. That was when I asked Jessica to send me the guest list. She didn't want to, but eventually she did. I started scrolling through the names. My relatives were there. Jessica's friends were there. People from work were there. Then I saw two names that made my stomach turn. My ex-boyfriend Mark was on the list. Jessica knew our breakup had been horrible. She knew I didn't want to see him again. But the second name was even worse. It was David, my former boss. He had publicly blamed me for a mistake I didn't make, and I had left that job because of him. Jessica knew exactly what happened. I called her immediately. "Why did you invite Mark and David?" She sighed and said, "Because it would be interesting." I couldn't believe her. Interesting? This is my birthday, not a television show. She told me I needed to stop living in the past, and that everyone deserved a chance to talk. I said, "You don't get to decide who I have to see on my birthday." She became angry and told me I was ungrateful after everything she had done for me. That was when I made my decision. I called the restaurant and canceled the huge reservation. Jessica exploded when she found out. "You just ruined everything," she shouted.
Ian sure. No, fix it.
"You planned a party I never asked for, invited 200 people without permission, and expected me to pay for it." She hung up. The next day, my family group chat became chaotic. Jessica had told everyone that I was selfish and had destroyed her hard work. Instead of arguing, I sent screenshots of our messages and explained exactly what happened. The chat went silent. Then my aunt replied, "Wait, Emma never agreed to this?" My cousin said, "I thought Emma planned the whole thing." Jessica left the group. That evening, she came to my apartment. She looked embarrassed. She admitted that she hadn't really planned the party for me. She wanted everyone to see that she could organize the biggest celebration in the family. She wanted attention, and she assumed I would eventually pay because I usually avoided arguments. Then she admitted she knew I didn't want Mark or David there. "I thought it would make the party more exciting," she said. I looked at her and said, "Jessica, you didn't make my birthday special. You tried to control it." She started crying and apologized. I told her I could forgive her, but she needed to understand that being my sister didn't give her the right to make decisions about my life. My birthday ended up being exactly what I originally wanted, a small dinner with people I actually cared about. Jessica came too, and she didn't invite a single extra person. Before we left, she gave me a small gift and said, "Next year, I promise I'll ask before inviting anyone." I smiled and said, "Good, because next year I'm choosing the guest list." We both laughed. And that night I learned something important. Sometimes the people closest to you can cross your boundaries while convincing themselves they're doing something nice. But a surprise isn't a gift if the person receiving it never wanted it in the first place.